Hey, Bob King, thanks for being here today. The reason we have Bob here today is because Bob is an absolute expert on the financing of college educations, which is one of the largest commitments any person will make in their life, either for themselves or for their family member. And, I have a couple of college age sons. Bob has been a huge help to me. Bob pointed out some things to me that I did not know in the past, which was, very disconcerting, but also very helpful once you learn about it. The first thing is, Bob, when we spoke, you made me aware of the fact that despite the fact that the 529 savings plan that the government put together has maybe some applicability, that there are some real catches to that, and that it's not for everybody, and you have to be really careful. Can you address that real quickly?
Well, Don, in a nutshell, the 529 plans are first used to reduce the amount of aid that you will qualify for. They were created by the federal government and used by the federal government and universities to actually save money, aid which they won't have to provide families and students. So, the families that I've worked with that were sold these plans, they were sold these plans because they were the way to pay for college. And yet, as they go through my process and what we discuss is it's a great way, they were sold as a great way to accumulate money, and that's even debatable. But did anyone ever explain to you what happens when you go and use the money? And that's really the catch. At the end of the day, as I tell every one of my families, it depends upon where your student is going to go to college. And the 529 plans can either hurt you a little bit or they can hurt you a lot. So you just need to know that before you begin the process.
Absolutely true. So, just the one thing is, you can't just take the word of any. Most financial advisors, if you talk to them, they'll say, "Oh yeah, I have a 529 plan." They think that's the panacea, and it's just not. But they don't know any better. They're not giving. They're not giving deliberately misleading advice. They just have been told that by the people that tell them, which of course comes all from the top. The second thing is that the first thing that I had to learn when I went into financing for college was the expected family contribution, and the expected family contribution was that big super secret number, and I was told it was actually a 32-page calculation to figure that out. And until you have that number, you can't know anything. You have no idea what college is going to be about. Tell me how you can help folks with that.
Well, it's the first place to start in the entire process. The EFC number is the most important number that a family must know, and it's the number that represents the least amount that a family is going to pay for college. It's what the federal government believes is your fair share. And when I sit down and work with families, we'll calculate that number for them. But upon completing that calculation, the first question I always hear is that number for 4 years? And unfortunately, I have to tell them, no, that number is only for 1 year. So again, it's what the government believes is your fair share to pay for college. And it's the first step that I help families with in terms of providing you that number. And I've helped families in the past where we've taken that number from when we originally calculated, Don, it's at $39,000 per year, which was their fair share. And we've been able to reduce that down to $12,000.
Wow.
And what that means to that family is that we've now opened up over $100,000 of potential financial aid for that family. So, it is the most important number. I'm on a mission. Families need to know this. And so by contacting me, the first step that we'll do through this process is calculate your expected family contribution number. And if there are ways that I can see that we can help you reduce that number as legally as low as possible, I'll provide you that information. And if they're not, and if you're perfectly positioned and set, I'll also tell you that. So, but you need to get at that sooner than later.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Bob, to offer that to people as just a free service to try to help people really understand the machinations of the financing behind college is awesome. So let me get your, is there a number people can reach you at? And we'll put information with this too, but what would be a phone number someone could reach you at?
Sure. The best number is 440-243-9700. 5555. And that's my office number, and they can reach me there pretty much all the time.
Okay. So and so, folks, if you're watching this and you don't know your EFC, which unless you've been through some great process, you don't. That is the first thing you need to know. Being able to walk in, talk to Bob, just pick up the phone, call him, get that number, and then have him say, it's, like you said, that client of his, it's 39,000. I think we can get it down below 15 or below 10. That's a huge reduction. And if he can't help you, he'll tell you that too. But Bob has been a wonderful resource for me and has assisted us in doing this, and I would recommend that to anybody. Bob, thanks so much for sharing this with our listeners today, and I look forward to many years of helping folks with you.
Thanks, Don.